Okay, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
We are doing length today, so we're moving on to the next topic. What was the last topic we did?
Angles.
Angles. Now we're moving on to measuring length. So we did measurement, we measured angles. Now we're measuring length. What do we know about length?
It can be measured in centimeters, millimeters.
Yep, it can be measured in meters, centimeters. Okay, what else? What is length?
It's like how
How would you explain it to a little child who doesn't do year 7 maths?
how far a line or other object goes.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. How far a line goes from an object, okay.
The distance from one point to another.
Yep, distance from, so if I'm measuring the length of this texture, is that the distance from this point to this end? Yeah, fair enough.
Measuring is like length is like measuring how long something is.
Yep, measuring how long something is. So we find it pretty hard to define things that are easy to us, right? We all know that we have to put our pens down and listen. Great. We all know what length is, but we find it hard to, explain it. So let's talk about why do we need length? Why do we need to talk about length? Why do you think it's an important topic? You all know what length is. Why are we talking about it? How is it related to maths?
Because you can convert from different units to another.
Okay, converting from different units, that brings something else now. A unit. What is a unit? Can anyone else answer? Just one student putting his hand up. What is a unit? Screen down. What's a unit?
A unit is a way of measuring length. Could be centimeters, meters, kilometers, miles, feet, yards.
Perfect. So yeah, we can measure length in centimeters, meters, kilometers, miles, feet, yard, inches. Yeah, that is correct. So what are these things? These are units. Why do we need a unit?
Because without a unit we can't measure something, because if we just say, let's say a square, and then we say one side is 100, it could be 100 kilometers or 100 centimeters.
Exactly. It's well said. If I say I've got a square of side length 1, did you say 1 or 100? 100. It could be 100 centimeters, it could be 100 meters, it could be 100 kilometers. Yes? If I say, how old am I again? 22. You're my favorite student. So I'm 22, right? Now I've got a nephew who's 22, but he's 22 months. How old am I? 22 years. So if I say I'm 22, and then my nephew's mom says, so my sister, she says, he's 22 as well. That does not make sense. He's a baby, right? Yes?
Yes.
So do you understand how important it is to write the units?
Yes.
If I say, I'll give you 50, is it dollars or cents? I'll say, I'll give you money. You say, how much? I'll say, I'll give you 50. You're going to say, I'm going to do homework. If I do homework, I'm going to get 50. 50 what? I didn't say dollars. I just said, I'll give you 50. So if I have not specified units, it's incorrect. It could be anything. Anything that can be measured. Give me an example of something that can be measured.
The length of a building or height of a building.
Height of a building.
How much money you have.
How much money you have.
Length of an angle.
Length of an oval. Can we move on to other things? Not money and length, please. Something that you can measure. Yep.
Squares or triangles or any shapes.
No, shapes are shapes. What are you measuring? The sides of a shape. Again, not length, something new.
The depth of a pool.
Depth, again, that's length. Can we talk about something other than length?
Age.
Age. What about weight? 2 kilos of something. What else can we measure? Can we measure the temperature? Yes?
A liquid.
Liquid what?
Milliliters.
Yeah, volume of a liquid. Yes?
Your height.
Height, again, that's length. A good example. Anything that can be measured is called a physical quantity. It can be measured physically. Anything that can be measured must have a unit. Yeah.
Yeah, just what you're saying, units doesn't have to just be like kilometers or 1.1.
No.
It can be like anything. Like
Exactly,
grams,
so-
degrees, anything like that.
Which examples did you say?
Grams and degrees.
Yeah, grams, degrees, yes. So why have I only written a few units? Meters, centimeters, they're all the units of length. But different quantities have different units. So what did we measure last lesson, last chapter? Angles. Did we use units? We measured something. Degrees. Was that a unit?
Yes.
So from now on until the the end of your life, you must put units next to anything that you measure. If you give me an answer that is a measurement and don't put units, I'm going to be a mean Indian teacher and not give you any marks. And I'm going to be that, aren't I? Yes? Okay, so what do we give next to a measurement? Unit. Is it always meters or kilometers? No, it depends on what the quantity is. What will be the unit of temperature?
Degrees.
Degrees, but that's angles.
Celsius.
Degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. There's another unit for temperature. Does anyone know that? Starts. Kelvin. Well done. Units for angles? Measuring angles?
Degrees.
Degrees. Units for mass, which you call as weight, but it's actually mass.
Kilograms.
Kilograms. Another unit for mass. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Yes. Yes.
Grams.
Grams. Yep. And another unit of mass.
Tons.
Tons. Another unit.
Nanograms.
Okay, yes, that's true. You can put the prefix
Kilograms.
milligrams,
Grams.
pounds. Have you heard of other units that the Americans use? The imperial units, not the normal units that we use. Have you heard of the word pounds?
Yes.
Yep. I haven't heard of that one.
That's what I think English people use it.
Yes. You may find it.
We can find it, but I haven't used it. Yes.
Horsepower.
Horsepower, yes, that is a very good, that's a very old unit we used to measure for power. Yep. Well done, horsepower. It's equivalent to, I don't know, something, what, 746 or something like that. Very good, I haven't heard that in a while. So there are some units that we use every day, some units that we don't use every day. Now, my next question, let's hurry up. Why do we need so many units for one single thing? So with mass alone, we'll label like grams, milligrams, kilograms, tons, nanograms. Someone said, why do we need so many different units?
To like specify what topic it comes under.
Nah, not necessarily.
Because if you measure in something general like a foot or a step, then your step will be different from mine. So you need something that's like fixed.
Okay, I get that. So that is why we need fixed units. So if I say 10 steps, again my 10 steps are going to be different to your 10 steps. Hands down. Hands down, hands down. Let me talk. I love talking. Hands down. So yes, it's important to have a standard unit. So 1 meter in Australia would be equal to 1 meter in India, right? So we all know what we're doing. However, why can't we just have meter as the unit of length? Why do we need so many different units for the same thing? We don't intentionally make maths hard.
Because then eventually you might reach like 1 million meters, and you need something.
Okay, you kind of get the hang quickly. Yep.
Because like say if you're only doing meters, you could like measure the classroom in meters, say like 10 or something.
Yep.
But then like say you have something really small,
Exactly.
you have to say like 0.034 or something.
Well done. So the unit will, yes, last answer.
It's just like easier because like if you're trying to measure something big, you don't want to use the tiny measurement because the answer's going to be like so long.
Exactly. Let's say if I used this marker to figure out how many of these marker lengths will be equal to the distance between your house and Mazenod. Would that be an appropriate unit? I can spend my whole life doing it, right? So if I was to measure the distance between the earth and the sun, would I use centimeters? Again, stupid of me. I can, but that'll be really stupid, right? So the size of the unit has to be appropriate. That brings me back to my nephew and my age. So I am 22 years old. He is, can I say he's point something of a year? No, it makes more sense to measure babies' ages in months, right? But once, after that you can say he's 2, he's 3, he's 4, he's 5. But once under 1 year, how do we measure the age? We don't say half a year, 3/4 of a year, do we? We use months, right? So what units would you use out of these 4 to measure the, I'm talking, distance between your house and your school? Would you use centimeters? I wouldn't.
Kilometers.
Kilometers, well done, the bigger unit. What would be the unit you'll use to measure the length of your book?
Centimeters.
Centimeters, right? Because a meter would be too big. What would you use to measure the length of the classroom?
Meters.
Meters. What would you use to measure the thickness of a coin? Millimeters. So do we get it now? The size of the unit we choose depends on the length we are measuring. Yes? What unit do we use to measure the distance between the Earth and the Sun, or different galaxies or different planets? I haven't written it there. Yeah. We can.
Oh,
I think it's AU.
oh no, I know.
What does that stand for?
Light years.
Yeah, we use light years, and we use astronomy. Yeah, AU as well.
Megaparsec.
Megaparsec, yeah. There's a lot of different units. Well done. So these units aren't big enough. Yes.
Isn't light speed also known as the measurement of time itself?
No. Everyone thinks that light years is the measurement of time because it has years. Why? I'm talking. 1 light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. So it's a unit of distance and not a unit of time. Okay? So 1 light year, again, you don't need to know this. We just gave this extra information.